A dealer buys an article at a discount of 30% from the wholesaler, the marked price being rupees 6,000. The dealer sells it to a consumer at a discount of 10% on the marked price. If the sales are interstate and the rate of GST is 5%, then find question number 1, the amount paid by the consumer of the article. Question number 2, the tax under GST paid by the dealer to the state government. And question number 3, the amount of tax under GST received by the central government. So how to solve these types of sum? See, it is a case of interstate transaction of goods and services. So SGST is equal to CGST is equal to 50%, that is half will go to the central government and half will go to the state government. Here the marked price of the article is 6,000. So rate of GST 5%. Rate of discount given by the wholesaler is 30%. So CP, that is the cost price of the article for the dealer, marked price minus discount. So 6,000 minus 30% of 6,000, that comes to 4200, 4,200. Amount of GST paid by dealer to wholesaler, that is CGST is equal to SGST is equal to 2.5%. Why? Because 50% CGST, 50% SGST of 4200, that comes to 105. So the amount paid by the consumer for the article, SP of the article for the consumer, that is marked price minus discount. So 6,000 minus 10% of 6,000, that is 5400. Now the amount of GST paid by consumer to the dealer, that is CGST is equal to SGST is equal to 2.5% of 5400, that comes to 130 rupees. The amount paid by consumer for article is equal to CP, that is cost price of article for consumer, plus CGST paid by consumer plus SGST paid by the consumer, that is 5400 plus 135 plus 135, that comes to 5670. Now come to the second part, the tax under GST paid by the dealer to the state government, that is 135 minus 105 is equal to 30. Come to the next question, that is question number 3, the amount of tax that is under GST received by the central government, that is CGST paid by the wholesaler plus CGST by dealer, that is 105 plus 30 rupees, that is equal to 135 rupees. Come to the next question, the printed price of an article is rupees 50,000. The wholesaler allows the discount of 10% to a shopkeeper, and the shopkeeper sells the article to a consumer at 4% above the marked price. If the sales are interstate, the rate of GST is 18%. Find the amount inclusive of tax under GST which the shopkeeper pays for the article, the amount paid by the consumer for the article, question number 2, and question number 3, the amount of tax under GST received by the state government. So let's go the same process. CGST is equal to SGST half, that is marked price of the article is 50,000 rupees, rate of GST 18%. So amount of the inclusive of tax that is under GST which the shopkeeper pays for the article, rate of discount given by the wholesaler 10%. So CP of the article for shopkeeper, marked price minus discount, that is 50,000 minus 10% of 50,000. So that comes to 45,000. Amount of GST paid by dealer to wholesaler, that is CGST is equal to SGST is equal to the 9% of 45,000, because 9% state, 9% central. See, this is in the question paper, it is given the 18% total GST. So that comes to 4050. The amount paid by the shopkeeper for an article is equal to CP of the article for shopkeeper plus CGST paid by the consumer plus SGST paid by the consumer. So just add the three figures, that is 45,000 plus 4050 plus 4050, that comes to 53,100. Come to the second part of the question paper that is the amount paid by the consumer for the article, that is selling price of the article for the consumer, that is the MAT price minus discount. MAT price 50,000, discount 4%, so 4% of that 50,000. So deduct the amount, that comes to 48,000 rupees. So amount of GST paid by consumer to dealer, that is SGST is equal to CGST is equal to 9% of 48,000, that comes to 4320. Come to the next part. The amount paid by consumer for the article, that is cost price of the article for consumer plus CGST paid by the consumer plus SGST paid by the consumer, that is 48,000 plus 4320 plus 4320, that comes to 56,640. Come to the next question, next part of the question. The amount of the tax that is under GST paid by the shopkeeper to the central government, that is the 4320 minus 4050, that comes to 270 rupees. Come to the next part of the question. The amount of tax under GST received by the state government, that is SGST paid by the wholesaler plus SGST paid by the shopkeeper, that is 4050 plus 270, that comes to rupees 4320, that is 4,320 rupees. Let's come to the next question. A retailer buys a TV from a wholesaler for rupees 40,000. He marks the price of the TV 15% above the cost price, okay, and sells it to a consumer at 5% discount on the MAT price. If the sales are intrastate and rate of GST is 12%, find then question number 1, 2, 3, 4. What is question number 1? The MAT price of the TV. So going to the same situation, CGST is equal to SGST is equal to 50% of the GST, that is half of GST. So MAT price of the TV, that is given price, CP of the TV for retailer, that is the 40,000 rupees. MAT price of the TV, that is 40,000 plus 15% of 40,000. Just add, the amount comes to rupees 46,000. Come to the second part of the question. The amount which the consumer pays for the TV, it is given that the discount given by retailer, that is 5% of 46,000, that comes to 2300. Amount paid by consumer for GST for TV, that is 46,000 minus 2300, that comes to 43,700. Rate of GST is 12%. So amount of GST paid by the consumer 12% of that 43,700. So that comes to rupees 5244. Amount which consumer pays for the TV, that is 43,700 plus 5,244, that comes to 48,944. Come to the next part of the question. The amount of tax under GST paid by the retailer to the central government, that is CGST paid by the shopkeeper, that is 6% of 40,000, that is 6 by 100 into 40,000, that comes to rupees 2400. SGST paid by the shopkeeper, that is 6% of that 40,000, that comes to 2400, and shopkeeper sells the article to consumer, that is 43,700. So GST collected by shopkeeper 12% of that 43,700, that comes to 5244. CGST of shopkeeper, that is SGST, that is the 6% of 43,700, that comes to 2622. The amount of tax under GST paid by the retailer to the central government, that is the 2622 minus 2400, that comes to 222. Amount of tax under GST received by the state government, that is the SGST paid by the wholesaler plus SGST paid by the shopkeeper, that comes to 2400 plus 222, that comes to 2622. Come to the next question. A shopkeeper buys an article from a manufacturer for rupees 12,000 and marks up its price by 25%. The shopkeeper gives a discount of 10% on the marked price and he gives further off-season discount of 5% or the balance to the customer of TV. If the sales are interstate and the rate of GST 12%, the way of questions are the same. Then answer the following question. Number 1, the price inclusive of tax under GST which the customer pays for the TV, the amount of tax under GST paid by the shopkeeper to the state government. Question number 3, the amount of tax under CST given received by the central government. Okay, so let's come to the one by one. As in case of interstate, CGST, SGST half, so 50% of GST. The price inclusive of tax under GST which the consumer pays for TV, that is CP of the article 12,000, marked price 25% above CP. So just add 25% of the 12,000, you will get 15,000. Amount of discount given by the shopkeeper, so 10% of that 15,000, that is 1500. Now come again, shopkeeper gives off season, that is 5% on the balance, that is the 5% of 15,000 minus 1500 is equal to rupees 675. CP of TV for consumer, that is 13,500 minus 675, that comes to 12,825. Amount of GST paid by the consumer, that is the 12% of 12,825, that comes to 1539. So TV, the price of the price inclusive of tax under GST which consumer pays for the TV, that is 12,825 plus 1539. So that comes to 14,364. Come to the next part of the question. The amount of tax under GST paid by the shopkeeper to the state government. Again the CGST is equal to SGST is equal to 6% of 12,000, that comes to 720. So GST paid by the consumer to shopkeeper, CGST is equal to SGST is equal to 6% of that 12,825, that comes to 769.50. The amount of tax under GST paid by the shopkeeper to the state government is equal to 769.50 minus 720, that comes to 49.50. The amount of tax under GST received by the central government, so the CGST paid by the manufacturer 720 or CGST paid by the shopkeeper 769.50 minus 720 is equal to 49.50. So the amount of tax under GST received by the central government is equal to 720 plus 49.50, that is 769.50. Come to the next question. The printed price of an article is rupees 40,000. The wholesaler is in Uttar Pradesh, buys an article on a manufacturer in Gujarat. That will be the in case of the integrated goods and services, because one state is selling to the other state at a discount of 10% on printed price. The wholesaler sells the article to a retailer in Himachal at 5% above printed price. If the rate of GST on that article is 18%, then find question number 1, 2, 3. The amount inclusive of tax under GST paid by the retailer for the article. Question number 2. The amount of tax under GST paid by the wholesaler to the central government. Question number 3. The amount of tax under GST received by the central government. So both the sales from manufacturer to wholesaler to retailer that are interstate, not intrastate. So CGST is equal to SGST is equal to 0. Entire part will be treated as a IGST, that is integrated goods and services tax. Printed price of the article 40,000 rupees. Discount given by the manufacturer 10% of 40,000, that comes to rupees the 4,000. So CP of the article 40,000 minus 4,000, that comes to 36,000. CP of the article without tax for retailer, that is 40,000 plus 5% of 40,000. So 40,000 plus 5,000 of 40,000, that comes to 42,000. Now come to the question number 1. The amount inclusive of tax under GST paid by the wholesaler for the article. That is amount of GST paid by the wholesaler to manufacturer, that is 18% of 36,000, that comes to 6480. The amount inclusive of tax under GST paid by the wholesaler for the article, that is 36,000 plus 6480, that comes to 42,480. Come to the second part of question. The amount inclusive of tax under GST paid by the retailer for the article, that is amount of GST paid by retailer to wholesaler. 18% of 42,000, that comes to rupees 7,560. The amount inclusive of tax under GST paid by the retailer for the article 42,000 plus 7560, that comes to 49,560. Come to the question number 3, that is subpart 3. The amount of tax under GST paid by the wholesaler to the central government is equal to amount of GST paid by the wholesaler to manufacturer, that is 18% of 36,000, that comes to 6,480. Amount of GST paid by retailer to wholesaler 18% of 42,000, that comes to 7560. So the amount of tax under GST paid by the wholesaler to the central government 7560 minus 6480, that comes to 1080. Come to the next part of the question, that is the amount of tax under GST received by the central government, that is IGST paid by the wholesaler to the central government, that is 1080. IGST paid by the manufacturer, that is 6480. So amount of tax under GST received by the central government is equal to 1080 plus 6480, that comes to rupees 7,560.